Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and today we're doing a little bit more of a deep dive into that SmartSchoolBoy9 rabbit hole. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the last time we actually ended up covering this, I was looking over how, the entire internet kind of blew up looking into this one Reddit investigation on one genuinely weird, creepy individual that was posting, creepy stuff on the internet. So to give full context and ideas of it, right, to give you a full reminder, SmartSchoolBoy9 is a set of Instagram accounts, a set of accounts on the internet that has been posting almost like role play, adult fetishistic content where they role play as a schoolboy despite being a adult. And also, there are unfortunate scenarios where it seems like actual images of children are being, uploaded onto the internet, obviously without the children's consent. I'm sure I would wager on it. And obviously, these images have been edited in a Smart Schoolboy 9 style fashion to appear a little bit unnerving. But inside all of this has been the centerpiece of an investigation that has effectively been, covered by plenty of YouTubers, one of the most, prominent ones in the true crime circuit, Nick Crowley. Now, Smart Schoolboy 9 is a subreddit dedicated to this insane rabbit hole. And for the last several days, I've been looking into it and I've been trying to ask myself the question, just how illegal is this situation? And unfortunately, I think I've come across a scenario where I really think this is quite possibly another almost near Mama Mac style situation, where I don't think anything illegal might have actually even occurred. Now, in the last video I made when I was covering this rabbit hole, I looked at some of these supposed pieces of evidence. One of them was actually this piece right here, where somebody had brought up this weird Usenet group of this individual being talked about back in October 21st, 1999. Now, in my last video, I said that there wasn't really anything definitively illegal. There were two major allegations, or really one major allegation, and that was that Smart Schoolboy 9 had posted illegal CSAM material onto the internet. Now, the thing about it is, even in my last video, I talked about that if this was really the case, I believe, organizations like Facebook, like Instagram, like Twitter, like YouTube would immediately shut those things down because of a fingerprint hash matching system. But in reality, I haven't seen any of that information, and it kind of makes me wonder just how people can validate that information. I mean, you would typically have to watch this kind of, adult, content, this illegal content, not adult content, illegal content, and then have to cross-reference it with Smart Schoolboy 9's actual post and see some similarities. That would involve you participating in an illegal crime. It's weird, right? Like, unless law enforcement takes something down or a page removes something because they detect any of these hashes, then I think you got kind of that crazy story. But it's wild to make an allegation like it. Now, to understand, to go back to SSB9, right now, as of 21 hours ago, one user says, "Hey, can all the detectives please make a private group for you guys to release information after it's been thoroughly investigated?" I mean, really, everyone knows what happened today and nobody's surprised. So realistically, ladies and gentlemen, what happened 21 hours ago around that time period? Well, it seems as though people have actually been going in real life and trying to harass an individual who they believe to be Schoolboy 9.
والله that's him. So what's up, Schoolboy 9? والله that's him. Schoolboy 9. Oi.
Now, I'm going to stop the video right there. This was a pretty relatively viral post that went on the internet of a bunch of children going after who appears to be this person, alleged to be preying on children, okay? Wild stuff indeed, okay? You've been warned a million times, you're still going to the free candy van. Insane shit. So, of course, for virality, this was shared around, and there was no confirmation that this was actually Schoolboy 9 or their actual address. And this is one of the scariest parts of witnessing an internet investigation, is that without having any form of actual evidence, you see people going into the real world and going after people who probably don't really have any connection to this entire piece. It's dangerous, it's reckless, and it puts actual lives in danger. And the fact that some people like doing this for clout just embarrasses, it makes me feel bad for the human race. So the extent of what weird stuff this guy did is I'll show you right now. And amongst just doing this weird age play stuff, which isn't illegal enough by itself, The big problem was obviously utilizing, real children. Now, again, I have to censor this kind of stuff out because these are real edited photos of what appear to be children. And, some would hope that it's artificial intelligence, but it really does look like actual, manipulated images of children. Now, this is the thing about the internet, and this is one thing that I feel like has to be said. Please don't upload photos of your children and other children onto the internet. At this point in my life, looking at the internet, it's probably not worth doing. So according to the FAQ again, posted 10 days ago, they said, has SSB actually done anything illegal? Yes! The images he posted across various accounts have all contained images that are considered to be CSAM in the United Kingdom. So then they say, look at the Copine scale. This is not up for debate. He is breaking the law. So I'm not going to debate this because clearly nobody here wants to. But to look at the Copine scale, it's a 1 to 10 scale we looked at last time very briefly. But of course you can see it starts from indicative all the way to something known as sadistic. So obviously, number 10 being the most obscene that this scale can go to. But this scale, number 1 on this scale, which again includes photos where children could, possibly be wearing things like boxers or something, either from a commercial source or family albums, pictures of children playing in normal settings in which the context or organization of pictures by the collectors indicates inappropriateness. So the point is, right, like when you're on like level 1, I guess, the thing about it is obviously the photos described in the most like lowest tier are photos where, let's say that, I was at a pool party, right? Or you were at a pool party with your family or very close friends. And obviously at a pool party, you had everyone dressed, in shorts or something. Adults, possibly children included. You probably took a photo of this pool party, around as most people do at a functioning event, right? And those photos, while, they're not inherently evil or taken with, some weird malice, could, I guess, in this context, possibly appear in the Copine scale, underneath something like a family album, so to speak. Now, obviously, the last part of this, where the context or organization of pictures by the collector indicates the inappropriateness. So, assuming, the way it's written, obviously a parent or a close relative possessing photos like that would be a lot different than a random individual like SmartSchoolBoy9, who's just happening to post, edited photos of innocuous, things around. But obviously, if a photo like that gets taken down, it's not due to a CSAM policy, and nor would that be, the posting or distribution of CSAM. That would be, obviously somebody grabbing photos off the internet, editing them, or posting them wholesale. One could argue, yes, that would fall under a 1 because the person possessing or redistributing those photos isn't a close relative. That collector itself would indicate a level of inappropriateness. But this is where, obviously, that wouldn't necessarily be illegal. It would be up to the platform to jump in and remove an account that would just be posting minors that they have no relation to, which would invoke a different rule. But yes, this person, while the way that he's acting is creepy, and I will definitely say posting pictures of children that, you don't have a relation to is very creepy, especially editing them in the way that we've seen is creepy. But the way that this investigation is taken as this being, completely illegal, crime being committed is very debatable. And that's just the distinction that I think people need to be looking at very closely. Now, obviously, if this is the case and these photos were then posted on the internet, I don't think that Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, really any social media platform or any government around the world would be so mad that you did that, especially, if you had a relation to these children. Now, obviously, where it gets creepy is it seems like, any photo posted on the internet of a child was something that could have been grabbed by whoever was running these SmartSchoolBoy9 accounts and was then edited and uploaded. Obviously, if these images were shared around, none of these necessarily break those CSAM laws. And even if those images could have appeared on this Copine scale, if they were on tier 1, I don't think tier 1 is necessarily going to draw law enforcement attention. Now, going into what SmartSchoolBoy9 posted, and like I said it in the last video, editing any photo of any children and posting it on your social media, especially if you have no relation to them and that content existing alongside what appears to be age roleplay stuff, is just really creepy, okay? And the thing about it is, I find it creepy, and I think most people find it creepy. But what I find creepy sometimes necessarily isn't something that breaks the law, which is very important when you're investigating a case like this. Has there actually been laws broken? So one of the posts that have been made is, how has he not been caught? If this person still has access to the internet, which means he's posting from his home, why wasn't the police found him by now? Also, someone mentioned that he is sleeping during the day and up late in the morning. How is he shopping for groceries? So, yeah, to go around over here, one of the person actually says, because there's zero proof that anything illegal has happened. Exactly this, and the UK police are not the most proactive bunch. Unfortunately, it would take SSB9 doing something illegal for them to pull their fingers out of their ass. So again, to go around over here, one of the people alleged that there was a video of him chasing some child and posting those images on the internet. The thing about it is, if there was actually a video that they could confirm belonging to him, because here's the thing, there seems to be a lot of videos and images posted from other sources that aren't SmartSchoolBoy9. I would actually have to see this video, which honestly I'm not particularly excited about hunting down on the internet. That would actually involve, again, if this was actually completely legitimate and reported to the law enforcement agencies, there would actually be action done. To say that the entire UK Metro Police is not a proactive bunch is a bit of nonsense, okay? If you have a valid case and you present it in a proper fashion, the United Kingdom Police is not slow or lazy. They will take action. It's just you have to have a case. You have to have crimes being broken. So when people were looking into this entire case, one of the pieces of evidence that really kind of shook me the last time I covered this, and honestly since then and to now, was this one post that people seem to be taking as near gospel. So for instance, this Usenet post from October 21st, 1999 by Donnie Ladd, all right, this is again, we read this entirely in the last video. And obviously this post, some would say, was pretty reminiscent of SmartSchoolBoy9 being discussed and described relatively accurately all the way back before the turn of the century. So anyone who's been in Northbridge Tesco's on a weekday evening regular will know what I'm talking about. At first, many months ago, I thought that it was just a released into community care weirdo with a severe skin complaint. However, last week while working on the town center lighting, I saw it without its charcoal and blusher combination face covering. So I gotta just skip through the rest of it. Obviously, this is not indicative or complete evidence, okay? There's not any direct causal link. For anybody that was looking into this and considered that, yeah, this is actual evidence, which unfortunately, if you go to the main actual investigation board, they still, to this day, mention that as proof that this person's been dressing as a schoolboy. Dog, you had no proof about it. You had no actual logical evidence. Like, if this was brought to an actual court case, it would be laughed out before it was even introduced to the stand. Now, the only crumb of intelligence out of this sea of investigation here was this one post, again, talking about this. How exactly is this even close to proof? That's a good question. And one person says, what better proof is there? I mean, I don't know, a direct causal link. If I brought this in any investigation I did, I'd be laughed out. It would be the easiest slam dunk response. In David City, someone 25 years ago with no reason to lie made a perfectly accurate description of him and his mannerisms. The intelligence in the sub is pretty much non-existent. You're applying basic common sense. However, most people here just want it to be true because they're desperate for their fix of excitement out of the rabbit hole, so they'll believe anything. So one of the wildest things that I found over here was linking to this one group called the Ethelred Estate, which is this public group on the internet. And while this group was really talked about because one of the Facebook accounts being investigated was participating in this, there was a lot of people from this investigation, not specifically from any Reddit board, but just in general, going to this account and trolling it like crazy. There is so much poo photos in this. I need a minute. Hold on. I need a minute. Whew. All right. So... Woo! All right, there's a lot of poo photos, and I've seen enough of that with the EDP stuff that I don't need to see any more poo that isn't mine or my kids for the rest of my life. Okay, I don't need to see anybody else's crap. Anyways, so I didn't know that Facebook has things like anonymous participants, but I guess you can post anon. And of course, the amount of trolling that happened over here was people jumped into this board that really had like 800 something members, or I would assume far less before people just randomly jumped in. Yo, chat, should I get this cake for my 8th birthday? SSB9, please don't come for me. And it's just posted on, it's just Roblox posting. And then, of course, you've got random people. Real shit, my word. Other anonymous posted as certified in every hood, my boys. I have not caused any scene, yet I did overreact. I've done nothing wrong. I've only informed people that there's a pedo in here. So again, all of these actual accusations need serious merits to it. And, in this situation, it doesn't really seem like there's a lot to work off of. So the people investigating this, what's happening is the administrators are trying to get that group private because obviously there's just straight up trolling that's happening. And when you go over here, you can see the users going, I feel so terrible for the original members of the group. All of the trolling and posting pictures of freaking poop in a toilet. I start to feel the average age of this audience investigating now, and I think it might be less than fetus, is going to get the group privated. Weirdos. Yeah. So again, if you're investigating a situation like this, you probably want to, establish a bit of care. There's time and places to troll the internet. In a situation when a predator is on the loose, it is quite possibly the lowest of the lows. If the man is never caught, we may never know the true crime and circumstances. And to give you an idea of weird investigations that have been going on, investigation into possible other crimes. So what are the other possible crimes? Well, they include, pretty light things like domestic abuse, assuming, of course, he's had a partner. I mean, come on now. Animal cruelty, murder, cannibalism, stalking, soliciting. Okay, all right. One of these is not like the other, okay? I want to know if some of the people who are investigating this pathetic excuse of a man can do something for me and really the world at this point. Go through records that have been made public of crimes committed in Britain and the UK as a whole. This motherfucker really wants you to go through the entire criminal public records of an entire nation, a big nation, by the way, just to find this one specific person whose name is still not even nailed down. This is quite possibly the craziest investigation that I've seen, in that the investigation almost has no real legs to it. Now, don't get me wrong, the person behind SmartSchoolBoy9 is a weird person, like I pretty much discussed in my last video. I think posting images of children, especially children that aren't your own, on the internet and editing them in this weird way while you're, kind of standing next to this high heels fetish boot play, it's just weird behavior. But like I said in this video, what I consider to be creepy and weird, sometimes it might not even break the law. And generally, that is what we're talking about. When we're talking about investigating somebody like this, the law is the most important thing. And when I talked about this being sort of like a Mama Mac style situation, it's that if you don't have any actual case, you're ultimately harming whatever case there could have been by doing stuff like this. So if SmartSchoolBoy9 had actually posted really illicit material, back in 2021, based on this post from The Guardian, Facebook had reported 22 million pieces of CSAM material to the NCMEC. And of course, Instagram, their sister company, ended up posting another 3.3 million. So a lot of these companies do end up finding actual CSAM material and reporting it to appropriate parties. And the way that this kind of stuff works is, look, I'll show you one piece of technology. This is Microsoft's Photo DNA. YouTube and Google has something known as YouTube CSAI. So these are specific tools. I want you to kind of think of them like Content ID. You know when you upload a piece of music onto the internet or onto youtube.com and it gets, matched and the revenue gets sent to the actual music holder, right? So this is Content ID for illegal material. So what happens is, if one piece of illegal material is flagged on the internet, a hash gets made of all of the actual things in that image. So if that hash ever shows up in another image, meaning another edited image, and again, certain types of editing may harm this, but generally this technology is advancing, thankfully, at a pretty rapid pace with the collaboration of most big tech companies, whether they be Google, Microsoft, even Apple. Every company gets involved trying to help children. It's a noble goal, and it's one goal that I'm glad that these companies go for. So when these kind of hashes are found, let's say, for instance, SmartSchoolBoy9, and I said this in the last video, let's say that and I talked about this kind of, hash technology. If illegal material is posted on Facebook.com, right, it would most likely be detected, especially with the amount of scrutiny the man has now, considering that, there's an entire investigation and pretty much the entire true crime circuit on YouTube has covered this guy. There was something that had been found. And if there was anything that was found, Facebook and really any of its partners would dig through their data troughs and find who this person is and work alongside the relevant police agency. It's stuff that they've done in the past and it's stuff that they continue to do. They probably did it today. So in reality, if there was actually illegal material posted, and irregardless of whatever it was on the Copine scale, if it actually violated, CSAM laws, which again, pretty easy to, very binary in the UK or really anywhere in the world, this guy would have been investigated and stopped by the actual site holder. The best thing you can do is report an account and send it over for review for any moderation service. If there's an account that you believe has illegal material on it, report it, and the site will do its best to try and stop it. Are there issues? Are there failures? Obviously, no system is perfect, but as an investigator, as somebody that wants to actually help a child that you think is in danger, the best thing you can do is just report the account. By going down and, participating in this and not really having any evidence to work with, not only are you tainting any possible case, but you're also putting in attention onto people that had no correlation. There are people whose houses are being knocked on because they might share, a city, they might share a last name or a first name or some arbitrary piece of uncleared evidence, and that can be very dangerous. And you don't have to ask me about that. You don't have to there's so much evidence of botched cases throughout history that you can refer to that tells you all of this is a bad idea. I think the best thing that any Reddit investigator can do is probably put their time and effort into doing something known as tracing an object. So there's a Reddit board known as r/trace an object, where these are actual posts made by Europol and Australia and the FBI and a lot of these agencies. And what they want is for people to actually, tell them, hey, this is an object, a piece of fabric or a curtain that we need found. All right. If you can help the FBI find this, they can help stop somebody that committed an atrocity towards a child or really any serious criminal in this category. This is a far better use of your time than, trying to go after a lead that really doesn't have anything to it. So that's really the reality of the situation. And given how much I've seen about this on true crime channels and being talked about with a lot of mystique and, intrigue, I feel like there needs to be a video like this that kind of levels the situation down and tells you that aside from, a creepy rabbit hole, there really isn't much more to it. And unfortunately, it really seems like it's veering into a category of full-on harassment. And realistically, the people behind this, the people who are running this investigation, should have a lot more responsibility and a lot more understanding that even if there was a case, they've done nothing but taint it. And in this situation, it's if you're going to make very serious allegations, you need to understand how the technologies you're criticizing works, how the law enforcement agencies you criticize work, and ultimately, you need to make sure your allegations have some serious evidence to them, okay? These are very, very massive allegations. Massive allegations require some serious, massive proof. And that has unfortunately not been brought forward. And all that's really been happening in the last 7 days, and ever since this situation exploded with the Nick Crowley video, with the Nexpo video, with Dexerto's posting, with the news, it's all been the worst things that I've ever seen happen in an internet investigation. But yeah, ultimately, that's just what I wanted to add to it. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.